We are live. What is up, guys? Bagsy here with a very, very special guest and special friend, Mr. Nikos, Mr. Crypto Nikos. How you doing, man? It's been a while.
What up, Bags? How are you,
Dude,
homie?
really good, man. I fucking missed your face. I know you've been up to a lot. You've been to Taipei. You've been traveling, setting up arrangements with people. I can't wait to ask you all about that shit.
Yeah, man, it's been a pretty wild last few months.
Hmm.
Last few months, things just really picked up
Hmm.
for me, and pretty much, yeah, things just really picked up for me, and I just like kind of, just really continued the momentum off of it, and
Hmm.
I saw you at Consensus,
Yeah, man.
it's just gonna keep going, and I think that it's nice because I'm like going like with my businesses and with
Hmm.
like sort of the momentum that I'm kind of creating.
Hmm.
It's tying in very nicely with the bull market, so it's like the perfect storm.
That's so important. And yeah, no, building off of momentum, like you said, that's really important.
Yeah,
Like,
that's the main thing, right?
hmm.
Is yeah, just being able to be there at the right, a lot of times it's the right moment, that
Hmm.
you're doing this at, so I'm pretty happy about that.
Yeah, the big
Hmm.
mistake I've seen a lot of people make is that they have one or two victories and they kind of sit on their loin, and next thing you
Yep.
know, it's too little, too late. So I'm really happy to see that you're doing well, man. How's Nai doing? I haven't spoken to him in a hot second.
Nye's doing well, man. What's it called? He just got back yesterday. And so the next thing for him now is we're actually going to Japan on Tuesday.
Get the fuck out of
So
here.
yeah, we're going with Matt from Crypto. Well, he used to be from Crypto 101. What's it called?
Hmm.
We're going with Jake, JB the Crypto King. We're going with and my buddy Kenny. Just going with a couple people,
Hmm.
and it's not. I mean, so my birthday's coming up, so
Okay.
that's pretty cool. But so I'm gonna be spending it over there. But at the same time, essentially, the reason for going over there is just like kind of like talk business
Hmm.
on a more casual note and
Hmm.
kind of see how we can all collaborate in the future, as well as just kind of like a retreat almost, right?
Right, right, right. Dude, that's gonna be awesome.
Uh-huh.
How old you turning, you old man? Or is that
Dude, I'm turning 30 years old, homie. No,
yeah?
I'm pretty much an open book, dude.
I like
A
that.
lot of people have asked me, yeah, like talk to me in person, and yeah, I'm pretty much an open book.
Hmm. Yo, what is up
Yes,
in
sir.
chat, Mr. Cine, Mr. Porky? How you guys doing? Welcome fucking
What
back.
up? What
Always
up?
appreciate you guys. These two are my
Haha.
homies. They're at most of my streams. I appreciate y'all very much. But
Very
yeah,
cool.
man. Fucking, I saw Nai was at Comic Con yesterday. That was looking pretty good.
Yeah. And I was at Comic Con yesterday. Comic Con's pretty cool, right? So,
Hmm.
pretty much, guys, most of the action for Comic Con is outside the actual venue.
Hmm.
Just like similar to Consensus, right? When we went to Consensus, yeah,
Yeah.
you have your booths, you have your meetings and so forth. If you're there for like straight business, of course, you're gonna be in the venue itself. But a lot of times, a lot of the networking happens outside of the venue.
Hmm.
Um, so I always encourage people, really try to make an effort to go to these conferences if there's one around you. Go to these meetups if there's
Hmm.
one around you, because it's a lot of times the business happens then. A lot of my business has happened outside of these conferences.
Hmm. Probably a big majority.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, because
Exactly. Probably like a good like 85%.
hmm especially if you're a personable type of guy. I think that it's maybe a bit harder when you're in these conferences when everything's very serious, business orientated. But once you get out of those events, conferences, and you actually meet these people, have a drink, it's more laid back. You can actually be yourself a bit more.
Yep.
And yeah, 100%. So to the people watching in chat, if ever you guys were considering going to any of these events, whether it's consensus, I was going to say Comic Con, whether it's consensus or any type of crypto event, try to do your best to interact with people and just be yourself and
Yeah.
say what's up. Many of these fine folk are humans just like us, and don't get star stunned. We're
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. That's so critical right there, right? It's not to be star stunned. A lot of these people they don't realize that, when you're at these conferences, when you're at these events, these guys are just regular dudes walking around. So like for example, Andreas Antonopoulos, right? He's just
Mm-hmm.
walking around. You want to grab a drink with him? Just grab a drink with him, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's there. Um, all these big figureheads, right? Like Brock Pierce, like even like Vlad and like Vitalik and CZ and Justin Sun. Justin Sun's just walking everywhere in Taipei. He doesn't. I mean, he had like a kind of like a crew, but at the
Mm-hmm.
same time, it's like it's not. You can just stop by and say what's up. And the one thing I give credit for Litecoin is Charlie Lee. I don't really care so much about the Litecoin project, even though I love like John Kim.
Mm-hmm.
But Charlie, is front and center in his booth. He was there at his booth. You could like take photos with him. You can ask him whatever questions you wanted, and he was there. So,
Mm-hmm.
I think that's really important. Just to go there and just say what's up to these guys.
Yeah, and I guess that's one thing that makes Litecoin more than just a cryptocurrency. Charlie Lee's actually a leader, and he's
Yes.
out there and he's showing face and he's being real and he's not afraid to connect. Um,
Yep, exactly, man. I think that's the reason why Litecoin has been as successful as it has, like till now, right? There's a lot of old coins out there that have sort of like hit the bucket, right? That like Nem and so forth that people just
Dash,
don't really
Nem.
care for anymore.
Hmm.
Exactly. Like why has Litecoin still remained in the forefront? It's because of their community. It's because of how bullish and how proactive the community is.
Hmm.
Right now John Kim is doing a whole like Asia tour right now
Hmm.
with OKX.
Really, huh?
They're yeah, like if you actually just search John Kim, he's just like this big Asian guy. He's Charlie's bodyguard. He
Let me
used to
look this
fight
up.
MMA.
Oh, I met
Dude,
him. Yeah,
yeah, you met him. We all
yeah.
hung out. We all hung out, dude. We all kicked it. Yeah.
Oh, fuck. What's his? Do you know John Kimball or
Um,
is it John with
just
an
type.
H? Okay.
Yeah, John with an H.
John Kim. Oh, is he registered on Twitter? Does he have a
Yeah, he's like the
golf?
Litecoin. No, no, no,
Uh,
no, no. Just go to my profile real fast
yeah, sure,
and go to followers.
sure.
I only follow a few people,
You're
so he definitely
exclusive. All right,
ha, he
okay.
definitely should be there. I had to follow Beaksy the other day 'cause
No choice.
no, I made that comment. I got like so much freaking hate for it.
Oh, really, huh? What was
Um,
the comment?
yeah,
Yeah, oh, yeah,
oh,
I
Beaksy
remember.
about the volume. Oh my god, dude! I just got like
You-
chill, like shredded here. I can look on my side too.
okay, I got John McAfee and I got.
So John Kim's thing is John with a H,
Okay,
Kim 77. That's his Twitter.
okay, JohnKimOfficial.com. Okay, yeah. This big
There
motherfucker.
you go.
Yeah.
This dude.
We were
Yep.
drinking with him at
Yeah.
some point.
Yeah, exactly.
I
Exactly. So
convinced
John.
Fungus that he was Charlie Lee at the party.
Yeah, so John's a super cool dude. The
Hmm.
guy is like awesome. And I met him first time in Consensus and I just like hit it off with him. And the dude's just a good dude, man.
Hmm.
He's not somebody you want to mess with, so don't ever mess around with him.
Hmm.
But what's really cool is that he actually has a video right now of a arm wrestling competition with Tone Vase.
Really? Yeah, he
He
break
whoops the
Tony.
shit out of
Of
Tone
course,
Vase.
bro. Tony's.
So so
Yeah.
so Tone actually called him out. So Tone apparently
Oh,
used to be a professional arm wrestling
wow.
guy.
Really?
So
I didn't know
yeah, so
that.
apparently yeah, so Tone like went up to John Kimmett at in San Francisco and was
Hmm.
like, you know, I guess he said like something on the lines like I can beat any shitcoin ambassador in like arm wrestling or something like
Hmm.
that. And he was calling out Litecoin, and so
That's so funny.
John Kim has a video of him just beating Tone like
Putting
three
him in his
times or something like
place.
that. Yeah, I mean the weight category is very different, and John Kim is just definitely not somebody you want to mess with.
Fair enough. Yo, what's up,
Yeah.
Swag? What's up, Scarn Z? What is up, Tori? Tori wants to know: are those Astro A50s that you're rocking?
Oh, my headset?
Yeah.
This is the Corsair. Uh,
Good branding, huh?
Good question.
Good fucking branding
I,
they got over there. Yo,
yeah, this is a Corsair wireless headset.
very
I like
nice.
these better than the Logitech ones I had before.
Okay. Yeah, I gotta get myself. It's weird trying to find a set that'll match with my mask because I can't get something too big because then it won't fit the pieces. Anyways, I live a complicated life, but just quick shout out to everyone who's in chat, all 25, 30 of you, plus all 8 of you who are on YouTube. I appreciate you guys very much. And also, Z, I heard that you have, is it a mouse coming out? Tell me a bit about your
Oh
project.
yeah,
Yeah, show
yeah,
me what you
yeah.
got, man. I want
No,
to try it.
I can't show you yet,
Okay,
guys.
okay.
But long story short, I do have a. So one of the things I do is, I pretty much for those of you who have talked with me, I pretty much do like a ton of like deal flow. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I have like a few businesses out there, not just crypto related, but just outside as well. One of them being a clothing line, as well as whatever. One of them is a gaming mouse. So the gaming mouse that I'm coming out with is going to have essentially the best components you would say from a top line of the line gaming mouse, like Final Mouse and so forth, that is made for like the pro gamer. And at the same time, I'm gonna make it as cheap as possible for you guys. So I'm looking to undercut the market by like probably by like 20%.
Damn,
So I should piss off a good amount of people.
you are for sure.
Yeah, but I am like 100%. I've was always a gamer growing up, so
Mhm.
I definitely have felt the economic strain of a young gamer looking to come in and like not being able to afford the best mouse out there, so now he can't compete at the level that he needs to compete at, right?
Mhm.
Um, so, just kind of leveling the playing field a bit. It's still going to be on the pricier range just because it's a top of a line mouse,
Yeah.
but it's going to be, right, like $10 to $20 cheaper than, the competition, which is
Dude,
substantial when the competition is like $70, right?
that's really crazy. How do you actually manage to do that? Is it by managing better deals with manufacturers? Is it by just lowering your price point? How do you manage to kind of cut back on that? If you don't mind me
So
going into
yeah,
that,
no.
I'm
By all
curious.
means, what's it called? I have good manufacturer ties.
Hmm.
So one of the things I used to do before is I used to do a lot of deal flow with Amazon.com. I used to buy and sell things a lot on Amazon.com on
Hmm.
a very high scale. Both for just regular things I would just kind of flip from Alibaba over to Amazon,
Hmm.
but I'd also do like sort of like manufacturing in a sense.
Hmm.
With like lights and electrical products and so forth for my construction company.
Hmm.
So I just pretty much hit up my manufacturer and was like, yo, can you do this? And they said, yeah, this is not something out of our wheelhouse, right? Like if I'm making electronic components like a light, like a high definition light, there is some sort of wire diagram and so forth, engineer wise, that's comparable to a mouse. So it wasn't anything crazy for them to do. So it worked out.
Fair enough, man.
Yeah.
Congratulations, dude.
This is just one thing, it's more of a fun hobby
Hmm.
at this point for the mouse. If the mouse takes off, by all means, I'm super stoked about it. But for now, it's sort of like I'm sort of a major investor as well as an advisor towards this project. It's my
Hmm.
homies, it's a bunch of my friends' project, and I'm just kind of making sure that they're not doing the same mistakes I did when I was a young entrepreneur.
Dude, I love it, man. And plus, if I'm not mistaken, you're acquainted with Ninja. Is that true or?
Yeah. So, what's it called? I've talked with Ninja a few times. I've talked with Hai a few times as well. Hai's the mid laner. Well, he used to be the mid laner, and then he went for support for Cloud9.
Hmm.
He's now the owner of a team. These are all like big figureheads in gaming, right? So yeah, um, Ninja. I've spoken to him many times before. I've spoken to like Naomi Kyle and a lot of the gaming space. The
Hmm.
gaming space isn't too like stranger to me or whatever you want to call it, right?
Yeah, you nerd, you.
Exactly, and I own a piece of PvP.com, so
Really? Oh shit.
yeah.
So next time you're buying drinks.
Yeah.
Just fuck with you,
Yeah,
man.
next time, drinks are on me, boys.
Yeah, I'm stoked for you, dude. If anyone in chat has any questions regarding crypto, gaming, whatever the fuck, put them in the chat box, and we'll get to a couple during the stream. And yeah,
Yeah,
dude,
100%.
let's talk a bit of crypto, man. What you've been
All right.
trading lately? Have you had any time to
Yeah.
do that? What you been looking at?
Yeah, so uh BTC has been my primary for
Hmm.
longest time, and I'll just make it simple. So
Hmm.
1 second, let me just share this real fast. Can I share my screen here or
Yeah, you
no?
should. Yeah, top right
Oh
of the
yeah,
Google
yeah.
Hangouts.
Perfect. Um Perfect. So this is can you see my chart,
Yep.
Bags?
Yeah, 100%.
All right, cool. So this is my BTC chart that I've developed for quite a bit of time, right? I've been really like I've always understood the principles of price action.
Hmm.
I've been trying to be very very disciplined towards it.
Hmm.
Coming up, I've spoken to EXO a few times. I've actually known him for a very long time. EXO and me, we've known each other for like a very very long time.
Really?
Since we both got into crypto. Yeah, yeah. Um, anyways, long story short, I know that he's like a price action, like, king.
Hmm.
So, I've been like just kind of, I've been trying to get to a point where not only do I understand like most TA out there, which for the most part I do. I mean, I'm still like a very, very much a novice when it comes to Elliott Wave, but
Hmm.
for the other aspects of TA, like I'm sure you as well, we understand a good majority of it,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
Um, so with price action, I'm really trying to finite it with price action where I feel very, very confident doing longer term swings. So
Hmm.
besides the short term swings that you can draw with diagonals and so forth, and diagonals are really good for catching breakouts and breakdowns. Price action is very, very unbiased, right? The support's the support, the resistance is the resistance, the levels are the levels.
Hmm.
And in my opinion, I think that price action is incredibly good for macro plays, right? Some of the guys that we love, like Cred and Donald, they're so good at these macro plays where, it might take like 1 to 2 weeks or 3 weeks to play out, but they're able to stack their longs, right?
Yeah,
And
and be confident in them too.
be confident and not play emotionally where I'm changing up my entries just because BTC dropped 100 points. I'm taking profit like
Hmm.
prematurely, right?
Yeah.
These are things that I think that because they are such masters and gurus of price action, they're able to accomplish that.
Hmm.
um, so, that's what I've been doing is essentially I've been very, very strict with my price action. So, for example, like right now, right, I've got these two lines right here, on these two levels right here. Technically, right now, I would be opening a long
Hmm.
right now. I'd be opening a long right at the moment right here, and expecting, us to trail all the way up back up to the EQ,
Hmm.
personally. So, that's just a thought, for example, right?
Yeah, yeah, 100%. Um,
So yeah.
yeah, thanks. First of all,
Hmm.
thanks for sharing that. Secondly, yeah, Trader XO, I've been speaking a bit more with. I can't say I know him by far as well as you, but he recommended I reach out to Trader SZ, so I've been following Trader SZ's material and stuff, and he's really really good. Um,
Yeah. I definitely need to check that out, man. I mean, once I get a moment to just like probably when I come back from Japan, I need to like sit down and really, really just like dive into the nooks and crannies like
hmm.
of price action because it's more than I know it's more than just the EQ. It's more than just supports and resistances and so forth. There is a whole underlying theory behind it,
Hmm.
and I really want to understand it.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like at the how should I say it? It's like an onion. There are many many layers to it, and you peel back a layer and like fuck, there's another layer, and then you peel back another
Yep.
like wow, there's another layer, and you kind of know how big your onion is, but that onion goes deep. So then that goes for Elliott waves, it goes for Ichimoku, it goes for however you guys at home are trying to learn to trade. Um, don't think you know it all because you'll get served a nice layer cake.
Yeah. Yeah, correct. Exactly. I think that everybody should understand a baseline of every single TA, technique, whatever
Mm-hmm.
theory out there,
Mm-hmm.
and then afterwards develop your strategy based on,
Mm-hmm.
a combination or whatever of all of them, right? Um, I think that's really important for everybody. I think a lot of people have the connotation where they find their favorite TA, person, whether it's me, whether it's you, whether it's, Donald or whoever, and they stick specifically to their style. Remember, everybody's style is different, guys. And I think it's really important that everybody sort of develops their own style of trading.
Dude, 100%. And actually, on Tuesday at 4 p.m. EST, I'm getting John CC, and he's going to break down Elliott waves for you guys at home. So hopefully, I'll get to learn a bit more. And I've really enjoyed John CC's trading. I don't know if you've heard of him, Z, but
Yeah,
he's been dropping a lot of content in my Discord, and he's pretty fucking good. So I'm looking forward to
hell
that.
yeah, hell
Um,
yeah, dude, that's awesome. I'm definitely gonna tune in for that one.
yeah. Tori said pizza's arrived. You can start the stream. There's a dude, Bobby. He asked, "Is China allowing BTC or is it just a rumor?"
Oh, what'd you say? I'm sorry.
He asked, "Is China allowing BTC or is it just rumor?" I think something yesterday. China was said that as an instrument, it was illegal. Uh,
It's
not.
legal digital
Yeah.
currency. So it's legal digital property right now. So
What
so
does that
China's
mean?
not necessarily so China's not necessarily stating that what's it called, BTC trading and so forth, and crypto trading is allowed.
Hmm.
But if you do have crypto, it is yours and they recognize it as digital property.
Hmm.
There's like a difference in there, right? Like, for
Hmm.
example, with Singapore, you can own gum, but you cannot sell gum.
Really?
Yeah, people don't realize that. You can go to Singapore and you can own gum. You can. I mean, as
Hmm.
long as you're not selling it,
Hmm.
you're fine.
Gum.
But yeah, but you're not gonna be able to buy gum in Singapore.
Wow. So you can
Yeah,
bring some in, but if you come into the country with it and you try to sell it, they'll chop your left hand off, kind of.
dude, they'll give you a nice little spanking, Bagsy, the
I
kind
should
that you like.
I should bring some gum.
You bring some gum.
Okay, so as I
Yeah.
guess so on a macro perspective, then I don't think China will be banning it anytime soon.
No, I don't think so. I mean, a lot of people think that China is, when China did like that major sort of announcement again in 2017, especially,
Hmm.
there was like two major announcements by China. People thought that China was just pretty much running away. But the thing is that China isn't, guys. Like, China's not dumb. They're
Hmm.
not. They're always going to be around. They're always going to be looking to be at the forefront of technology. So what their biggest concern is that they're looking to control it, right?
Yep.
So that's the main thing. They're looking to control it. So until they have the necessary structure down,
Hmm.
they just won't open it up for the public. But it's only a matter of time before they find that capability to control it.
And to
And
you,
to a certain
what?
degree, to a certain degree,
Yeah, for you, I guess what would control be the best
control
scenario for
control
them?
Control would be being able to track wallets, right?
Hmm.
Just like the U.S. has spoke about, where you have, yes, is every single wallet in a sense anonymous, per se, right? Because a
Hmm.
wallet is just a series of numbers. But there's a way to track that into somebody's what's it called, IP address or something like that, right?
Hmm.
It's a full tracking system in play. They don't want any. They don't want any like surprises.
How long do you think it's going to take for them to actually have the whole network laid up? Or is it already here?
Um, you know what? Like, I think to a certain degree it's already here.
Hmm.
But I think at the same time, I'm definitely not the security professional that,
Hmm.
really knows this. That is a very good question, though. It would be very interesting to find out, what, like, technology
Yeah.
wise, right? Bring on a security expert and really ask him, is it possible for them to do that?
And I guess at the same time, is it possible to convert to a privacy coin and then how private would the Bitcoin you receive be? So it's interesting because you can track up to a certain point, but and I'm no expert either, but there are many ways around things, so it's a good idea. I'm gonna bring someone who knows more than me, and hopefully they'll be able to shine some light on it. Um, a few questions in chat actually, maybe some shit coins we want to dive into, you and I. Um,
Oh yeah.
yeah, we got the flipper special. We have Link and Ren. Do you,
Yeah. So Gon, yeah, exactly. Link and Red. Fucking A. So Gon actually was telling me about
Mhm.
That Link versus what's it called, the USD pairing was actually looking really good. So
Yeah,
she's
it
just
must
pulling
be.
that up right now. Yeah. So just like looking at this on the 4 hour, right? You just looks like a giant, descending sort of wedge right there, right?
Hmm.
Um, just eyeballing it right here, but it just looks like a giant descending wedge.
You want to share your screen for me,
Or
bro?
actually, yeah. Let me.
Yeah, Cine said, can't beat innovation, never worked in human history. Bitcoin is indifferent. Fire, light, train, car, TV, internet, etc.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm.
People think that it's not possible, right? The blockchain is untraceable, it's uncontrollable, it's completely decentralized. These are great fantasies, guys, but people said the same thing with a lot of things, and here we are,
Yeah.
fast forward whatever how many years.
Yeah.
So
Even the war on
this is
drugs, as an example, um, the more they tried to
yeah,
squeeze it out, the worse it got, to the point where they're starting to open the doors to it just because it's a profitable way for them to make money. So it's funny how
exactly,
killing innovation just
exactly.
usually makes it come back stronger. And Bart de Brewer, I appreciate your comment. I really do. Thank you.
So I'm just charting this out, Bags.
Yeah, yeah, cool. I'll do Ren BTC while we're at it. Um, so yeah, so if I pull up the VPVR tool here, let's do it on the 1 hour. I noticed that we originally broke out of the descending trend line, but there were some bearish divergences on the 1 hour on my CCI. Also, we're closing beneath the POC of the range. So the POC is this yellow dotted line. That's the highest horizontal volume area. So personally, I think we're going to see a retrace to retest that descending trend line. Sorry, and then we could maybe see some continuation if it's bullish, and you can see a bounce and break beneath if it's bearish, and then you can figure out the scenario either way. But let's say I'm wrong and it does not retrace here. Let's say it breaks back above, then this would be a safer area to get back into a long. But overall, let's go on the weekly for Ren. I'm surprised it hasn't retraced more than it has, so it's definitely really bullish. So I wouldn't necessarily be looking to cut my entire position, but if someone's looking to do a swing position, technically we're at horizontal resistance, so it wouldn't be the worst place. And obviously Flipper would have a heart attack if you heard me say that, but yeah, no. So yeah,
All right. That's actually that's pretty funny.
that's true
That's
though.
pretty funny.
That's
Yeah.
his baby. Whenever I say take profit, he's like, but if you're trending at resistance, that's bullish. I mean, if you're consolidating at resistance, like motherfucker. Um,
Yeah. Here, let me
you
show
want to
this real
pull up
fast.
Link USD? Bobby, I'm not a trader. I buy BTC. Now I'm wondering if not to sell some gold coins I have and buy BTC instead. What are your thoughts? Well, first of all, this is not financial advice. I'm not your financial advisor, but let's say one day we're able to actually excavate gold on another planet or through stardust or whatever means, gold is gonna be worth jack shit. And just from a macro perspective, how much has gold gone up in the last few years? Maybe 10, 20%. So
Mhm.
I think from an FA point of view, I see Bitcoin as more valuable. Um, Now, obviously, it would depend how much gold you own, how much Bitcoin you own. Do you have a stable job? Like, there's so many things. But if it were me and I had some gold coins from a pirate chest that I wasn't doing anything with, then yeah, I might sell some. But that's just me. Um,
Yeah.
yeah.
Same. Same. I think it depends. I think a lot of it depends on, yeah, exactly what you said, right? Your current situation. So if your current situation is that, you are younger, right? Like relatively young, healthy, you have, this savings back and you want to be a little bit more risky, then I think that Bitcoin or crypto is the way to go. That's what I would do.
Hmm.
Just because, there is a more of a multiplier right there, right? There is
Hmm.
more of a potential just because of how young the entire crypto space is. Now, is this the time to buy Bitcoin? If I was looking to buy Bitcoin, what I would be doing is I would be, dollar cost averaging it, right?
One
I
gold
would probably
coin a
look to
month.
pick up maybe a little. Exactly, right? Like I'd like pick in like a little bit now, and then afterwards, I would slowly, dollar cost average down, and that was the main thing.
Hmm.
Back when Bitcoin was like $4,000 or $5,000, dollar cost averaging was your best friend, and people didn't realize that, people that were buying last year or 2018 at like or like 2017, 2018 at the tops, right? Like at 16,000, 15,000, and so
Hmm.
forth. If you bought something at 15,000, let's say you bought one Bitcoin at 15,000, then you bought one at 5,000, your dollar cost average now becomes 10K.
Hmm.
Your average buy-in is now 10K. So,
Hmm.
um, it's such a powerful tool, such a powerful concept, yet not a lot of people, exercise it.
Yeah, very well said. I think I read a post about that yesterday, but no, no, extremely well done. And yeah, sure, we can chart TNT in a moment. Yo, what's up, Monsieur Leplot? I
Yeah,
appreciate you. Show
so
me that
here's
descending falling wedge, bro.
uh oh god. So I'm not the biggest fan of wedges, guys,
Hmm.
but here's your wedge, right?
Hmm.
So first off, this is like a downward channel right here that Link has been in for a bit,
Hmm.
right? You've got your two even lines right here. Link has been in this channel accordingly. But one thing that's been happening is that Link has been starting to find a little bit of support along this bottom side, which is why you can draw this. For those of you that are new, and Bagsy, you obviously understand this, but you can draw this new descending, new bottom trend along right here. And then you can have this upper trend line. So it looks like within this lower channel, you have this, descending wedge.
Hmm.
And it looks like it's starting to flip. And if it does start flipping bullish and it does start like, testing this upper trend line right here, we could see a very well a break, up to, target one along this side right here. And the reason why I chose this target one right here is because just like you spoke about with the VPVR, um, just like you spoke about with the VPVR, you see, right, you see the volume. It's like an open scape right here. There's very little volume right here. Your point of control is this far below. This is essentially, let's just say, if I zoomed out and I just like kind of highlighted this whole area, you would see the point of control up here, right? But the point of control is essentially where the largest volume is, where the
Hmm.
largest confluence is in that area. So this would be it. This would be target one,
Hmm.
or I guess the target, if
Yeah.
you wanna,
Yeah, no, it's and that's
the
one.
target right here.
Yeah, that's one thing. People kind of get pissed when I say take profit or sell. Um, the only reason why I'm not the only one, obviously, but when we say take profit at resistance, it doesn't mean never buy back in. It just means there's a higher likelihood that the asset gets rejected at a level. And if it does, then the probability of you being able to buy it cheaper is higher. So you can actually have more coins later down the road. But a lot of people get upset and don't realize that when you're taking profit, it's not the worst thing in the world. It just means that you're increasing your Satoshi value if you're selling to BTC, and worst case, you're increasing your USD value if you're selling to USD. So selling at resistance is not a stupid thing by any means. And if people had followed that during the bear market, they could have been a lot better off. And obviously, the conditions are changing a bit. So on some of these shit coins, taking profit might actually be the worst thing you could ever do. I won't lie, but at the same time, it's not the worst thing to condition yourself to sell to BTC, because I think we're all here right now in the expectation that Bitcoin will eventually be worth 30, 40, 50, whatever your target is. So if you're taking profit to BTC and you put that into cold storage or whatever you choose to do, it's either way that underlying asset will be worth many multiples more down the line. Win-win.
Correct. Correct. No, 100%, man.
Hmm.
If you just look at, actually, just real fast, I forgot to. forgot to just highlight this, but if
Oh.
you just if you look at this link chat, I mean
Mm-hmm.
link chart again,
Mm-hmm.
right? Just back to what you were saying, if you just drew that trend line down there, this upper trend line for this channel, you just took profit along these resistance points. It trailed back down. You would have had the opportunity to buy back at a lower amount, and this is
Mm-hmm.
a pretty substantial drop right here. You're talking about like a 33% drop right here. So, um, I think a lot of people, I think the major issue with a lot of newer traders is that they think that their bias, that their research is special. And just understand, guys, I think there's like a theory out there that whenever you have a good idea, that there's like 5 or 10 other people that are having the same exact idea at the same exact time as you in the world.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's like a good idea. Now imagine, research that is out there right now that, that is available for the mass public to read and so forth. There's a good chance there's a good amount of people with the same exact thought process as you. So a
Yeah.
lot of times you have to understand that your bias um, is not, unless you've been doing this for like 20 years, guys, and you're like an expert in both like stocks and traditional assets and tech sector and so forth. Don't put your bias towards your trading. And I always tell Tunes this. I always tell
Mm-hmm.
Tunes this all day long. I always tell Tunes. I always have discussions with them on private. That
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like, dude, like stop, stop with the thought process that you're like that these fundamentals of this shitcoin is going to essentially cause it to do a 10,000x. Like we're not
Mm-hmm.
in that scape yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's a really good point. I guess those conversations aren't private anymore, but yeah, it's kind of, but yeah, it's kind of like when like Engine, for example, or Theta, like his
Yep.
calls were spot on.
Yep.
His three calls, I think it was Engine, Theta, and KNC, Kyber Network. Not necessarily in that order, but they all went 2, 3, 4, 5x, whatever. But I don't know how much profit taking was necessarily done. So, eventually, I mean, the only two assets I think that have stood the test of time against BTC in the last 2 years is Chainlink and BNB, Binance Coin. So, what are the
Yep.
odds, everyone at home, that you're holding two of thousands, slim
Yep.
to none? So, the fact of the matter is, taking profits, taking profit. And yeah, Portugal Paul, the ultimate goal should be to stack sats. All my crypto funds, I couldn't care less about USD. Yeah, so if you own a fund, I mean, they operate a bit differently from what I understand. Some
Yep.
value USD more, others who
It
are
depends on the
fine.
fund. Yeah.
Yeah, some are fine playing long game. It really depends on the structure. I can't speak too much on that. I think Z might know a bit more than me about it.
hmm
Um,
No, it 100%. So it depends on the fund, right? For example, like Block One, they have a combination, a hybrid sort of pattern where they're not just putting in BTC, but whenever they bring in other investors that are looking to invest into the fund, those investors a lot of times are coming in with USD.
mhm.
So then there's a USD aspect to it. So I think that yes, is it important to stack sats? Of course, it's important to stack sats, but at the same time, if you're stacking sats, at least in my opinion, once again, not financial advice, but take profit, take profit at the top, take profit, go buy some stuff, go store some stuff in, some just straight fiat so that you can afford to pay for, health things and so forth that come
Mhm.
up, right? A lot of people, they don't do that, and then guess what happens, when push comes to shove, they have an emergency come up, or so
Yeah.
forth. They don't, the doctor's not going to accept your Bitcoin. I'm sorry, and he's definitely not going to accept your Bitcoin, buying it at, above value.
Mhm.
Like, that's just not how it's going to be. So take profit as well on sats if you're
Uh,
going to accept sats.
yeah, 100%. And if you have a stable job or multiple income
Yep.
streams, like Thoreau would say, then then it's less important to take profit.
Exactly.
Then
Exactly.
you have the capacity of playing long game, like Z, for example. But
Yep.
if you're relying solely on trading, then yeah, sell some to USD, whatever, sell some to gold, whatever your hedge is, and to live a little. Because I made that mistake at some point. I wasn't enjoying anything just because I was so focused on maximizing every dollar. And it's not necessarily a bad thing, but I kind of became depressed because I'm in front of a screen all day. I cut all social ties, yada yada yada. Big fucking mistake. And this was 2 years ago, back when I started, and it wasn't. It was a mistake in the sense that I I kind of burned some bridges, which I managed to fix, and everything's cool now. But it helped me in terms of improving my trading, but it really killed me in terms of my mental health and my just how my well being. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's hard to strike a balance, especially let's say if you're not doing well in the market and then you blame yourself and you try to make up for your losses, and it's a whole vicious cycle. So what I've learned with time is try to like you said, take profit, enjoy it a bit, spend some time with your family and friends. They're not going to be around forever. Um, and yeah, not to make the underlying tone depressing in any sense, but life is meant to be enjoyed. So make sure you don't make the same mistakes I did.
No, 100%, man. And that's really good that you experienced that though, Bagsy,
Hmm.
because then you have that experience behind it. And those are one of those things where honestly, um you can't really learn from, like, people listening to you. Yeah, to a certain degree they can experience that, but
Hmm.
they can learn from it, but you really have to experience that. The same thing goes with me, man. Same thing 100% goes with
Hmm.
me. In 2017, if I was intelligent enough, I would have had multiple properties and so forth. But it's whatever, right? I
Hmm.
still took profit at a certain point, which is good, but I definitely could have done better. And it's important to learn when to take a step back, and
Hmm.
also when to appreciate what you have. And I'm in all seriousness, I just started really appreciating that right now.
Really, huh?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Just like started appreciating that right now. It's actually been funny because lately I've been actually able to trade really, really well, especially on margin trading,
Hmm.
just because I'm letting my positions breathe a bit,
Okay.
trusting my price action charts, trusting my ranges, and letting myself breathe a bit, going outside, hanging out with my dog, taking a vacation, working on my other businesses, opposed to just staring at the charts nonstop. And
Hmm.
um, I think what you said is really, really relevant.
Yeah, you're enjoying a better quality of life by doing less and by doing different things.
100%.
That's fucking
100%,
awesome.
man.
That's some real shit. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah. By the way, what's it called? Take a look at Raven. I mean,
Hmm.
Theta right now.
Sure.
Very strange. Like consolidation pop up into another consolidation right now. Um. Yeah.
I saw,
Very.
yeah, I saw that
Yeah.
pop on the weekly the other. I know Theta had a heart, Tunes had a heart attack when that thing pumped 50%.
Yeah, yeah, he thought that it
We're
was
going to
over
the
and he missed it or
moon.
something. Yeah, no, it was wedging nicely,
Hmm.
and it popped up really nicely, and then
Now it's bull flagging on the.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yes.
Now it's showing yet another another accumulation zone per se, right? Right, if you want to
Yeah,
say that.
it's a nice
And the
bullish
next stop,
consolidation.
exactly, and the next resistance stop really is based on the VPVR and based on whatever the levels I'm looking at is, looks like high 1300s. So
Hmm.
13, what, like 1350 to all the way up to the 13, or all the way up to 1425. So
Hmm.
that's a pretty nice gain right there. That's a nice like 20
Yeah.
30% right there.
Yeah, it's actually one thing on one of my streams. I charted Theta before it did that pump, and I told whoever was holding Theta to place some bids at like 1346, which is the POC, probably exactly what you're seeing. And hopefully
Yep.
someone got to capitalize, because had that person taken profit here, you could have bought back roughly, let's say, 15% more of your stack. You could have increased that.
Yep.
So that's just the thing about taking profit. And I think on the YouTube, because we're streaming through Twitch and YouTube right now. Mr. Swag said people get scared of not having the same amount of coins later if they take profit now. That's what I hear, and if they don't know how to trade, they usually get wrecked. So it's safer for them to hold. So yeah, that's the thing. I mean, when suggest, again, non-financial advice, but when you see a strong resistance level like the point of control, the POC, which is the highest volume area, if you're lucky enough to catch a wick like this, and it doesn't always play out like that, but you could increase your stack by 10-15% just by having been strategic and just selling at an area that just makes sense.
Yeah. And remember, guys, this is technical analysis, right? It's based on mathematics, and it's also
Mm-hmm.
based on just straight data. Like, you have to understand data, mathematics, these things aren't biased. They aren't biased towards what kind of coin theta is and what kind of, team members they have on the platform. This is straight trading, and I think a lot of people need to respect that. There is a very much an element towards not being emotional when you trade,
Mm-hmm.
and
And that's
and
hard
not
to
not
conquer.
it is it's not basing your decisions on fear, right? Not basing your decisions on fear is the main thing.
Mm-hmm. That's really well said. And the MFT is actually at 16, 17 sats right now. Crazy. Crazy.
MFT, yeah,
Fucking mainframe.
just dead, just dead.
Yeah, Knacker Boy, can we share our thoughts on Nano BTC on the daily? Raven also. Are you in a
Yeah,
Raven
let me look.
position right now?
I am in a Raven position.
My man.
So Nano looks like it is reversing a bit.
Mm-hmm.
It still has some time though. Remember, like a lot of people like they hear, oh, it's reversing, like I'm gonna enter in like right now, I'm gonna market buy, like
Yeah,
don't do that.
yeah.
I think right now it is actually at a prime point right now, and it needs to break. It needs to break. Um, for Nano, it needs to break.
I got
Let's
I
see
got
here.
1270. So the
Yeah,
the 18
exactly.
yearly low.
Yeah, exactly. I got 1281. So,
Nice.
1270, 1281.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it needs to break in order for it to be considered bullish and in
Mm-hmm.
order for me to want to catch that, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to sit here and stare at this thing every single day, or every single second to catch every single like micro pump up. It's just that's a really bad decision,
Yeah. So like what I'd wait
and you'll go
for,
crazy.
yeah, exactly. So personally, what I'd wait for is a weekly close above 1270, because we can see here like there are multiple wicks into this area, and this week had really nice volume, so it's a good thing. However, this could take weeks to play out, and in the meantime, let's say BTC decides to go to 20K or whatever, this is gonna fail. So I would
Yep.
prefer waiting for the price to get back above here, close on the weekly, and if that happens, there's a higher likelihood. And again, it's not a sure thing, but there's a higher likelihood of you being able to make a 40 set, let's say 41% run to the next resistance at 1828, the FTA of the range. So like I would rather wait for some type of scenario that'll say, okay, Bagsy, there's a better chance that you can still make 40%, even if you miss out on that 10-20% by buying here, but then sacrificing opportunity cost because it took another 2 months to play out.
Yep.
So
Yep.
yeah,
Exactly, man. Exactly. And that just comes with maturity of trading, right?
yeah.
Being able to look at those ranges. So yeah, for me, not an entry into Nano anytime soon. You see, like right now, it's if you look at candle theory, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
it's on the 4 hour. It printed a pretty much a shoot. It's not a shooting star per se, but it pretty much has a
Mm-hmm.
massive wick on the upside, and now it's trailing back down. So I would not be surprised if it trailed back down to like 1100, or
Mm-hmm.
yeah, 1100 would probably be the
Yeah.
next spot based on micro PA levels.
Yeah, but
Hmm.
it looks really good on the daily. I mean, for me, the CCI is about to cross green, so that's pretty good for me. I really like using this tool. The
Yeah.
T3 CCI is fucking. It's a, it works well for me just to just for confirmation on how I should trade it, and someone just doing pure price action could achieve the same thing just by looking at structure. So you don't necessarily need to use a tool like this, but for me, I like colorful things and I like simplicity. So to me, that's just something I like to look at.
Yep.
Um, in chat, I'm never touching Nano again. Nano's dead to me. Um, yeah, that's yeah. Sorry, and
Here's here's Raven, guys. I drew this actually a while ago. I think I posted on Twitter. Maybe I did. But yeah, so Raven essentially a while ago, this was the resistance box that needed to be broken before we targeted that 1 and 2. You see your POC right there,
Mm-hmm.
once again right
Nice.
underneath the resistance level. So it needed to break both of these, right? It needed to break both the POC as well as the resistance box.
And it did.
And it did. So right now, Ravens trailing up, and these are the two targets that I drew about a while ago
Mm-hmm.
at 495 and 521. So those are the next levels that I see. And then just for those of you that are curious about the level after that,
Mm-hmm.
556 is another really solid level for it. Or if you want
Beautiful.
to be a little,
You want to look
556 or
up RSR
550.
for me while we're at it?
Yeah. Reserve right. Oh yeah, nothing like choppy charts. Love that shit.
Chip chop, chip chop.
I like chip chop off the BTC
Yeah.
or pairing or
Yeah, let's do BTC.
all right. So BTC, right? It's holding like higher lows for a minute now.
Mm-hmm.
So you got this, what I'm just spitballing right here, but you got this like bottom trend line right here,
Mm-hmm.
which actually coincides nicely with the point of control. So it's at the point of control right now.
Mm-hmm.
So for those of you that are wondering what the point of control is, the point of control is this red line essentially at the VPVR. So if you type in VPVR and indicators,
Mm-hmm.
right, you're gonna see the visible range, and this is the visible range. It
Mm-hmm.
essentially tells you where the most volume and confluence happens on average.
Beautiful. And in chat, I just added the VPVR tutorial video I did on YouTube the other week, so you
Oh,
guys,
beautiful.
yeah, you guys can feel free to check that. And but yeah, no, basically that's exactly it.
Yeah, so yeah, definitely check out that video, guys. The VPVR is a very powerful tool, and for me, I actually get rid of the volume indicator at the bottom. I don't even see the volume anymore. I just use a VPVR to double check.
Mm-hmm.
So I keep my charts pretty bare bones now. But yeah, so it's in this range right here, right? Where the point of controls. It has not broken out. So for me, I will not be entering into RSR until I see a breakout from there.
Mm-hmm.
That's just me.
That makes sense.
Just because I want to see it. It could very well hit this POC and actually drop out of this accumulation zone, right?
Mm-hmm.
So and every single one of these sats at this point is quite a bit. You're looking like it's practically like
3%.
3.5%, yeah, per sat. So remember, guys, that means that one sat movement you can make a lot and you can also lose a lot. So with low sat coins, I always tell people, you always have to be very, very careful with it.
100%. Do we ever incorporate fib time zones? I personally don't. I use fib retracement levels and extensions, but I've never used time zones. What about yourself, Z?
I have only when it comes to fractals.
Mm-hmm.
So when it comes to fractals, I have just to
Okay.
try to gauge, for example, the Litecoin halvening, that fractal that everybody was talking about,
Yeah,
just
yeah,
to
yeah, yeah.
gauge when I can, in the foreseeable future, like how far along, do I have until I have to take profit, right,
Yeah.
based on the fractal,
So you find
or
it
have to
works out
release
well
that.
for that then. So it's more of like a time-based entry or exit tool.
Yep, exactly,
Very
exactly.
interesting. I might check that
Yep.
out. I'm always into learning new stuff. So.
Yep, exactly. When it comes to using fibs,
Mm-hmm.
yep, extensions and retracements, absolutely, just to look at bounces and so forth,
Mm-hmm.
and to justify bias. If I see a spike up and I see it start retracing down, I can sort of guesstimate where the bottom is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like I'll enter there, but I might start dollar cost averaging there, right?
Yeah, that's smart.
Um, yep.
And by the way, thank you to all 32 of you in stream on Twitch, plus all 11 on YouTube. We're actually the number 4 stream on crypto right now, and we've only been at it for like 2.5 weeks. So I have
Hell
another
yeah.
353 days left to be the number 1 crypto stream on Twitch. So I appreciate you guys. If
Who's
you
that,
haven't,
who's number one?
some jackass. I'm just kidding. It's this 24/7 Crypto Traders TV. They do
Got it.
24/7 streaming, but I think one of the dudes is crypto mule TA, some Mueller TA. I think he taught Urban TA, and we had Urban TA
Okay.
on the stream 2 weeks ago. So apparently he's pretty good. So yeah, check him out. But they're not always on. Sometimes it's just autopilot. So
Got
yeah,
it. They have like a price action chart for BTC, and then
exactly.
it'll
Live
just
chat.
trail up.
Yeah, it's really
That's fine.
yeah. I'm taking all the best elements from their shit and I'm incorporating it in mine. But
Sweet.
what's our take on the paradigm shift in crypto, starting with BTC as the first realization of proof of work blockchain, Ethereum smart contract realization? Do we think there will be a paradigm shift again to a realization of a framework that can actually infinitely scale while being secure? Example, Holochain, Hashgraph, etc. Do you want to take that question?
What's your takes on paradigm shift in crypto starting with BTC? Yeah, you know what? I think there will be a realization for sure. There's no doubt about it. So,
Mm-hmm.
I think the biggest thing is when and I guess when and where institutional funds come in, right? So all of a sudden, right, you're starting to see things like Facebook, coming in, and Bank of America with its patents, and a few other big companies starting to look to integrate into crypto. There is no, it's not a secret that Ethereum is too slow for the block. Ethereum's blockchain is too slow. I mean, there is no secret with that.
Mm-hmm.
So when that happens, I think that frameworks and the necessary like scaling as well as security measures that those bring, like Holochain, Hashgraph, and so forth, I think definitely will come in.
Mm-hmm.
There's definitely no doubt about that. I think there definitely will be a realm for that. I still think that we are premature though, by quite a bit, guys. Crypto moves very fast when it comes to price and it comes to relatively on the development side, but understand that that is for retail. That is for the smaller company, looking to get in. That is for the smaller fund looking to get in.
Mm-hmm.
That is for the smaller developer guys. When you're talking about big money coming in, it doesn't matter whether crypto is fast or not. They will take their time because they have so much to lose. So you're not going to see Amazon all of a sudden like put all of its eggs in a basket and go, you know what, Raven, you guys are freaking exceptional. You guys are working with Overstock.com. We want to use you guys, and here it goes. Right? It's not going to be that simple, guys. It takes a lot of time
And
for implementation like that.
yeah, and they have all the time in the world because, as you said, they have so much to risk that it's worth them sacrificing, let's say, 6 months to a year, but also ensuring that they're going to come out winners in 5, 10.
Yeah, it's also the investors, guys. Remember that like these big companies, they have investors to answer to. They have to call board meetings. They have to do all this stuff. It's much more than just Bezos just going, "Yo, I'm doing it right now." Of course, he's
Mm-hmm.
got some pull, but at the same time, there is a whole checks and balances aspect that happens with these companies.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that
hmm
they're already in it, Bezos and
Um,
crew?
I Yes, I think that those big guys are inside of the market already, and I definitely do think that they're trying out many different types of technologies already. The thing is that are they just trying out other technologies and seeing what's best, and then just like what you just did, right? What you just said, you're using the best elements per stream to find out your own stream.
Mm-hmm.
What's stopping them from doing the same thing? At the end of the day, Amazon wants to do what they want to do, and they want to make sure that whatever they create for themselves is going to suit themselves the best. They don't want to just, you know, use someone else's crap
Yeah,
and
and
then have to answer to someone else, especially on, when every single day they're generating, millions
millions
and
and
millions of
millions.
dollars
Mm-hmm.
every day, right? Like downtime for a week of downtime is very bad for them.
Mm-hmm. And that's actually a good point because what do you think now that Congress is shoving their dick up Libra's ass? Amazon isn't going to be able to do a cryptocurrency by
Exactly.
any means. So they'd be able to probably create their own blockchain where they can track their own packages and all that, but I don't think from a cryptocurrency perspective they'd be allowed to necessarily do that. So for the moment being, I'm not necessarily afraid of any cryptocurrency challenging Bitcoin, at least not from a magnet, like from a corporate perspective. I don't think that any company is going to come out and challenge it. So I don't believe that Bitcoin will have necessarily any challengers, at least until it stops working, or until
Correct.
there's just too much volume, until something from the inside fucks up. What was that cryptocurrency that was taking up 25% of the transactional space? It starts by a V. It was on Bittrex. Anyways, these guys I'm worried about, actually, because
Really?
imagine you're able to slow the
Yes,
entire chain and just start stuffing it with useless transactions and making it inefficient.
Yeah, I mean,
no one's gonna
yeah, I
want
mean
to
that's
use it.
exactly. I mean, that was the whole thing with CryptoKitties, Like it's just
Exactly. Ethereum got fucked by the kitties.
honestly, when CryptoKitties came out and Ethereum got bogged down from that, we all should have took profit completely. We all should have just sat out of the market, because at that point, when the number 2 cryptocurrency is shooting up, at that point, it's got this, massive bull run up. And it was essentially, Ethereum was named like the mother of all coins, you know, when it couldn't handle a simple game, we have problems.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%. Sorry, I'm late, Daddy. I was napping. Yeah, we did actually. Raven's looking good. Ren is at resistance. But